Welcome all, we're back in Factorio, and I let this run for a good long while, collected quite a bit of iron, copper, crafted a whole bunch of useful items while I was at it. Research, of course, finished quite a bit of work. I'm going to change the way I do this, the way I do these chests, because what I notice here is that it's only pulling off as much as one chest can do at a time. So if I put that there, and then I'll put a splitter here with a preference right. Now, yeah. Actually, let's put the splitter a little further back just because it makes it prettier. Alright, we'll put that back in, that back in. And then what we'll do is we'll put a chest here. We'll put our inserter down like that. That'll do. And then we'll do the same thing here. And I'll just collect these. Okay, that's empty. Can I collect all of that? I can. All right, cool. So now what it'll do is it'll pull everything basically as much as an inserter can do instead of as much as one burner can do. And I don't have better inserters yet. Well, what does it take to do fast inserters? That'll do. All right, let's queue that up. And let's also queue up red belts because I'm sure pretty soon we're going to be needing that. Oh, I noticed over here that the stone mines were starting to empty out, and that's good. And we'll get those cleaned up eventually. All right, so the next thing I think I want to do is we'll do stone bricks and steel. And sometimes when I'm really trying to be picky about how I do my spacing, I'll put a splitter here, and then I'll work my way backwards across these underground belts. And that works, but it also, you have to work really hard to get that right. So I'm going to do the thing that I think is cheaper and easier. Let's see, I'm going to end up wanting to move iron, stone, and coal. All of those are going to move. So this will be a coal filter. These things are just spaced out absolutely beautifully. That was completely an accident. No, I don't want ore. I want the actual iron. So that was completely an accident, but I'm not going to gripe about it. Now, in order to make this work, I need to get the coal to go across as well. So it's going to be not exactly the prettiest thing I've ever built, but oh well. Move this once more. We're going to want a splitter like that. We'll put them here and here. And got this. And we'll then go, see if we can see this in the map. You can actually copy paste out of the map, which is awesome. All right, here we are. That'll be a nice match. And then we're gonna, let's see, we want coal again to be the thing. But we're gonna want, so this is where steel's gonna come out. We're gonna need to connect power lines. So we're gonna need one more copper splitter. And then what we could do is we could duplicate that whole thing again. I don't think we actually need 8 wide. And this will be for stone coming over. Need one more, like so. Little trick here. If you try to put down individual belts, then you can accidentally overwrite your splitters. But if you do a copy paste and then you do shift placement, it will not overwrite splitters. It'll just fill in all of the empty spaces. So I use that from time to time. All right, that all looks good. All right, now that we've got those things working, then I think we can build our engines. Engines are, these are kind of interesting. They take an iron gear wheel and a pipe, and you need to you add to that steel plate. So I've got a common way that I do this. Well, wait a minute. I'm going to do this different because I've already got gear wheels now. Okay. In that case, I could just do 3. So let me show you how I do 3 here. Let's see. We're going to want a first thing, but it's going to filter for steel going right. So that's going to be steel. Where's steel actually? It's going to be there. So filter, filter. Then we're going to have the iron, which is going to be like this. And the iron's coming from one step further over. So that'll work. And then we want the gear wheels. You can copy paste from over there. Let's see, we're going to have one more of those, so we'll have this. Another trick is if you do the copy paste, you could do a drag fill, and it works real well. If you try to do a drag fill with a certain one, you'll always end up offset with things not lining properly, but when you're trying to do drag fills on splitters, then they just automatically, if you're not aligned properly with the diagonal line you're trying to build, they just won't build. So that's pretty awesome. All right, let's take a look here. 1 steel, 1 gears, and 1 pipe. Oh, I haven't made a pipe yet. Oh, that's going to be irritating. All right, let's do something funky. Something totally not what I would normally do. Do I want to go further? What I really want is I want to have this bottom one be iron. Alright, well, it's not the prettiest thing I've ever built, but we'll go ahead and we'll build it that way. So this is going to be a iron line, and we'll use that to build pipe here. So this will be a pipeline, no pun intended. Oh, what did I just do? How did I put down an artillery target? I have no idea what I just pressed that did that. I sure wish I knew how to cancel it. Well, let's leave it for a little bit, and if it gets terribly annoying, then I'll figure out how to cancel it. All right, so what I want is I want the other pipe, or the other line to be like this. So let's see, we're going to have something that merges together kind of like that. And so we want to have, that's not going to be, this needs to be, all right. This actually needs to be a steel filter, and this goes away. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to steel. This is going to be that. All right, so we've, all right, so this, if this is, wait a minute, is everything offset? Yeah, it is. Everything's offset by 1 square. All right, so we'll do that. We'll take this. Where is steel coming from? After I've made that change, there's steel. We'll take all of these, put them up there. Then we'll just copy paste to fill in the belts. That should work now. Steel's getting all mixed up. Steel goes there, and it's going to end up here. It's going to get filtered right. Okay. I think it is working now. All right, and then let's build. Now for this, because you're pulling off, anytime you've got 3 items or 4, then you're going to need a double belt, of course, to do it. So that's how that's going to end up. And this will become on the belt. Now I know I just did the more fancy way of, you know, putting more throughput on by having a splitter. Remember we did that with iron. I don't think that's worth it for engines, at least not right now. I don't think they're critical enough that we want to spend that amount of resources on them. I might go ahead and just double side it. Okay, so let's take a look here. We've got engines. Well, probably the next thing we want to be heading towards is oil. Let's see how we're doing on oil. Oil processing, we've got a couple of things we're missing. We'll do that, then we'll queue up that, then we'll queue up that. Let's take a look at our map and see. I see oil in the southeast. I often will take this time to build a train setup. Is it worth it? Oil usually is in the long term. But once I start building a train arrangement, then I often just spend tons of time doing nothing but trains. So, I don't know. I'll try to resist. I love my trains. All right. I don't have trains, though, yet, do I? Railway. Yeah, railway. We could get a basic one started. Well, let's put it on the queue at least. All right. So if not railway, what can we do here? Oh, by the way, I haven't shown you FNEI. If you've ever used NEI on Minecraft, FNEI is a beautiful mod for Factorio. It does the same basic thing. So you can come through here and you could say, okay, I want to build a pump jack. So you can left click on it. If you right click on something, it'll show you what the uses are. So I'll right click on steel. You get 59 different recipes that will use steel. Let me go back though. Pump jack requires steel. And if I had forgotten what electronic circuit was, I could go here and I could go back through the history to figure out what it is. It'll show you down below what you can use to make it, what sort of machines, and this will show you what level of research. So I can click on that. It takes me right to the research page, telling me what I need to research to be able to do it. Once you know Factorio pretty well, it's not all that necessary. But if you're playing with a mod, particularly I love to do Bob's mod, the Bob and Angels mod together, that's an insane amount of different items, and FNEI is indispensable. All right, so anyway, let's take a look here and let's see. We don't have any research yet, but we don't have any additional research we could do. But let's go ahead and let's take a look. We'll use Control E to go to FNEI. Let's go to Science and let's see if we can plan ahead. All right, so Chemical Science Pack, that's Advanced Circuit, requires plastic, which requires oil. So does sulfur. So we're not going to be there yet. Oh, we do oil first. I think we could probably, we're pretty close to military. Production Science, this requires plastic as well. This requires sulfuric acid, I think. But whatever, we're not there. Utility Science, that's definitely sulfuric acid. All right, so let's see if we can set up military science. We don't have the research for it yet, but we could plan out things ahead of time that we're ready for it. All right, so piercing rounds, these are always interesting. You make firearm magazines out of just iron, and then you can make piercing rounds magazines by adding copper and steel to that. I don't have the research for it, but I could lay out what the machines are going to look like. So let's first make our, let's figure out where iron's going to be coming. That's where iron is. All right, so we can make our machine for making the firearms magazines. And eventually we'll upgrade this, of course. But for now, it's good enough. This is especially useful, of course, if you are if you're fighting aliens. I'm not fighting any aliens, so it won't really become necessary, but when I am fighting aliens, then I do this very early. Alright, so I also need steel and copper. Now let's take a look what the balance is like. So 5 copper, 1 steel. So I'm kind of inclined to actually... See, what I'm thinking is that I don't want to have 5 copper and 1 steel sucked in by 1 inserter. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to make this line be steel plus the firearms magazines. And this would be a dedicated copper line. Now, in order to do that, we're going to have to do something a little bit trickier. Okay, so the inserter places on the far side of the belt. So what I want to do is I want to end up with iron, but iron only on the near side of the belt. Now to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a splitter here, and then I'm going to put a downward facing thing. So this is a T intersection. We only get one side of it. And because we've got some extra space, I'll go ahead and put this a little lower so that we can go ahead and have an ordinary splitter there. This will be our copper line. All right, so there we go. So this just needs to be steel. And this is going to be copper. And, all right. And copper, how far? Wow, that's a long ways. So copper's not been used in a while. So we have to copy it from quite a ways back. Oh, and we are running short on belts. But because I've got belts in here, one of the cool little tricks is I don't even have to craft them myself. I can go grab a whole bunch of belts off of the bus. All right, let's see how we're doing here. I don't want to copy that. Paint all of that in. And I was thinking, by the way, that it might be time to just terminate these. There's really no point in having these run forever. Now, eventually, we will need to get the iron ore because it becomes important, I think, in concrete, if I recall correctly. So we'll want to pass that on, but for now, we don't need to continue building belt. And the fact is, actually, we didn't need a belt of copper this far either. Eventually, this will probably all get pulled apart and turned into a railway-based system. All right, so this, and we want long inserter. This will, well, this can't make its thing yet. So we'll just have to wait on that. We can go ahead and queue it up. Military 2 is what we need, but we can't queue it. All right, so why is it taking so long to research it? I think we ought to go take a look to see if we ought to be able to research these basic things faster. Green is backlogged, red is not. So we are sitting here now faced with the need to expand our red science production. All right, well, I think what I'm going to do, we've got plenty of backlog for now on all of this. This isn't exactly the perfect way to do things, but it's good enough for now. Okay, I'd like to make that better, but 4 times the production is a good start for now. How are we doing? We should be checking to see how our... All right, we're not running short of ore yet. Used up a little bit there. Copper is still doing pretty good. It's just not producing enough. So now by having more mines come in place, we'll speed up production there. We need to connect that power line. We got a couple more mines we can auto build here. Handy hands to the rescue. There we go. All right. Oh, and this is gone too. I realized after I put this down that I could get more throughput by packing these tighter, and maybe that's worth the trouble. Having more mines should drive things faster. because I'd like to get that out of the way. I mean, if stone is not precious, so you could, of course, just, you could build over the top of the stone mine, but, you know, if I've got an option before that happens, I'd really like to take that option. All right, so let's take a look at military science. We also need grenade, which is coal plus iron, and a wall is just stone brick. When I build a wall, I will also go ahead and build the gate, even though I don't have the technology for those. Yeah, so I'm going to just prepare all of this stuff. Grenades. Now, normally when I was building these, if I had enemies, I'd have a chest like this so that I could be collecting all my different type of armaments. But because I don't have enemies turned on, that is not going to matter. All right, so grenade was coal plus iron. All right. So I'm going to need, let's see, this belt is coming here. I don't think that piercing rounds magazine, it's used in a defender capsule. I've never actually used those capsules. Uranium rounds, okay. So I'm not going to be using this for anything. How about use cliff of explosives? I don't need cluster grenades. And walls. Yeah, okay. So the only thing I'm going to be using all three of these things that I'm building is just purely for the military science. So, okay, that fair enough. Now let's put iron there. Copy. Let's see, iron's there. Okay. So that's where iron will go, and then we want coal, which is going to be a good long ways. What did we just finish? Oh, it was logistics. Is that, we can make red belts? Yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually build a red belt and red underground belt and a red splitter. Now, if you want to, you know, I'm not going to put them in my hotbar for now. What I'm going to do here is that once it's in your hand, then you can hit U to change the auto build. So I'm going to have it auto build, I guess maybe a stack of that. And it's still working on the underground belt. The reason I'm doing these is because I'm planning relatively soon. You know what? Underground belts, that'll work for now. I'm planning relatively soon that I figure I'll probably need to upgrade my iron line to red belts. So we'll work on that when time comes. But if I have my resources pre-configured, it'll be easier. All right, copy, and coal is all the way out there, so there we go. All right, so that will put, and now I'm out of belts again. And over here. Don't need that, but otherwise that's going to be nice. And then we want walls. You know, I said I was going to build gates, but frankly, if there's no aliens, there's no point in building gates. Okay, so we'll just build the wall. And that will require a stone brick, which is this line. But I don't want that. Oh, I'm out of splitters too. Wow. Right. Well, we could copy paste them, as long as we don't actually connect it. No, I didn't want to connect that. I told myself not to connect it. All right, so now what we've got here is we've got a belt. This empty belt here, which will extend to here, is going to carry the rifle stuff. This is going to carry grenades. This will be walls. All right, so this I will actually just reverse. For this, what I'm going to do... All right, so if you're going to have something that you're planning to just get rid of, then... Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I wanted to actually go in and look at it. This is stone brick. All right, now we can connect that. So if you're going to actually make use of something, then you can actually redirect the entire line instead of having a splitter. This was all kind of a little bit mixed up because, yeah. All right, well, now that's fixed. We only have brick on one side? We do. I guess we don't have it doubled up. All right, so what I want to do here is I'm going to have a splitter. Let's see. We want to have the final line look like this. So we'll have this and this and this. We'll have something coming over like that. And we'll have something coming over like that. All right, and let me show you what I'm going to do here. No, that's not what I want, just this. And this is going to be grabbing the grenades. We don't have grenades yet, so I can't get that splitter in place yet. This is going to be grabbing the ammo. And so the idea here is that instead of having a splitter right here that splits two ways, you can just redirect the entire load. You don't have any need to have it continue on the bus from here. All right, so let's actually cancel that railway stuff. Let's do the military first. Actually, we could just say military science. We could do the stuff that's it's dependent on. Start research. Start research. Start research, and then this becomes valid. Okay. All right. So we don't want to fill these things in quite yet because I don't have the right filters for them yet. All right, so, but this will eventually give me what I'm looking for. And now I can take this and instead of going for military, this won't go for engines. This will be making military science. And how far is this going to go? You know, I'm thinking, well, whatever. All right, we've got things at least this far out. All right, underground belts. And what's going to be here? This is going to be stone bricks. Yeah, so we'll need those. We can copy paste into some of this. And copy paste a whole bunch of this, fill it all in. All right. So we don't have railway yet. We are still working on oil processing. But oil, we want a pump jack. And pump jack is steel. Okay, so we've got all the raw materials we need. We actually ought to we ought to get some steel into our regular system here. Pick that up. Oh, that's not making much at all. The problem with steel here is that steel takes 5 iron plate to make 1 steel plate. And so you end up having to chew through quite a lot of materials to get any significant amount of steel. Eventually, eventually your base gets big enough that it catches up, but it does take quite a while before it gets there. I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to set up the military science before I called it a halt for the episode, but this is taking longer than I wanted. Let's take a look, see if green science is our problem now. We could just go ahead and reconnect all that too. That's coming. And yeah, so now we're waiting on green science. Let's take a look at what's going on here. We've only got 1 machine. Yeah, should have guessed that. I guess I did, but I guessed it very late. And we'll... Oh, there we go. We'll copy and paste. Alright, so I don't have enough machines yet. Alright, so I think it's time to call a halt on the episode here, because I'm just waiting on resources, waiting on research. So I will see you a little bit later when I've got military science ready to run, and we'll take off from there. Alright, see ya. Bye-bye.